What's up everyone, it is TB here, and it is Spooktember, which means that the Fnaf movie is just 3 weeks away, which is crazy. It's coming out on the 27th of October, and I could not be more excited to see it. It looks really, really interesting. I actually love the feel of the trailer, how loyal it seems to be to the fans of the franchise and the source material. And yeah, I just cannot wait to see it in the cinema. Today I just wanted to talk about all the information we have on this film and how I think it is going to perform in cinemas. And to that I say, I think it will perform very, very well. Or at least as expected. I don't think it's going to be a flop. Not only because it's a really good advertising campaign so far, you know, on social media alone there's so much advertising. But yeah, what's more interesting is that a lot of people seem to think the movie won't do well because of its PG-13 rating. This is definitely not the case, and I definitely don't think this is the case. Firstly, movies like Venom, which was also a PG-13 rating, even though people wanted it to be rated R, performed amazingly well, you know, exceeding expectations. It made $156 million worldwide in 2018. Last year, Blumhouse made Megan, or M3 again, however you want to say it. And that's really interesting because that was a horror/sci-fi, and it was rated PG-13 as well, which is, by the way, M in Australia, if anyone watching this is also from Australia. And yeah, that's really interesting because that also performed amazingly. Not only in terms of critics, it got 93% Rotten Tomatoes, although audiences didn't like it as much as the critics. But I definitely think, just from the trailers alone, that the audience will not have a problem liking the Fnaf movie. I think it's exactly what fans of the franchise have expected, in terms of the animatronics made by the Jim Henson's puppetry shop, and just everything about the film so far I think has been really successful and liked by fans. So yeah, so not only does Megan have a 92% Rotten Tomatoes, but also it made a lot of money. So its budget was only $12 million, and Megan in total made worldwide gross of $181 million, which is still quite strong. Future TB here. So at the time of editing this video, I have just realized that there was a brand new story that came out. The Five Nights at Freddy's film has already made its money back even before its release. Yes, so apparently in an interview with Fortune, the founder and CEO of Blumhouse Productions, Jason Blum, explained that even if the movie completely tanked at the box office, the film would still make a profit. And just from the sale of streaming and theatrical distributions alone, Fnaf has already managed to make back production costs. This was Future TB. Alright, now back to the video. So, there's a 3-picture deal with the Fnaf movies. We learnt this from interviews with the cast, especially Matthew Lillard.
But I just got cast in a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, it's very fun. It's a 3-picture deal with Universal and Blumhouse. So
I think it was one of the first people to talk about it in an actual interview. Yeah, so it's pretty much already going to happen anyway. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of fans wanting to see it. I mean, well, hopefully millions of people will come out to the multiplex to see Five Nights at Freddy's on the big screen. So we know this movie has the potential to be a really big hit, but let's just have a look at the synopsis on the official Five Nights at Freddy's the movie website. The film follows Mike, played by Josh Hutcherson, a troubled young man caring for his 10-year-old sister Abby, and haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother more than a decade before. So already his younger brother disappeared a long time ago, so recently fired and desperate for work so that he can keep custody of Abby, Mike agrees to take a position as a night security guard in an abandoned themed restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. But Mike soon discovers that nothing at Freddy's is what it seems. With the aid of Vanessa, a local police officer, played by Elizabeth Lale, Mike's nights at Freddy's will lead him into unexplainable encounters with the supernatural and drag him into the black heart of an unspeakable nightmare. So yeah, and also stars Mary Stuart Masterson as Mike's icy Aunt Jane. Kat Connor Sterling is Abby's caring babysitter Max, and Matthew Lillard, of course, is Steve Raglan, Mike's smug career counselor. Now here we go, here's the description. And so he must be the career counselor, sort of the middleman in between Mike and the Freddy's Pizzeria establishment. So it's obvious that he's playing a sort of fake character at the moment. You know, he's going to be acting like Steve Raglan when he's actually William Afton. And he's going to act as if he's Mike's career counselor when I guess he's obviously the one that owns the restaurant, the establishment, and he knows what's going on with the whole animatronic thing. So let's look at Johnny Blox's Twitter here. As you can see, he's posted some really cool behind the scenes photos. That's the director there, Emma Tammy, I'm pretty sure, standing behind this Freddy Fazbear suit. Yeah, as you can see here, we've got Justin Michael Terry is the actor playing Freddy here. Here he is getting suited up, and yeah, you can see all these like electrical wires and stuff, which look really cool. I like that detail. You know, so even if there's like a gap inside of this suit, you know, you can see still wires behind it, so it still gives that feeling that it is an animatronic. Now let's move on to the Blumhouse event called Behind the Screams. They held this at Universal Studios Hollywood, and they had all 4 animatronics on display, and it was really, really cool. And there was a really interesting detail that I noticed when they have one of the narrators briefly talking about the film. And basically, in this following clip, this was posted by Neela Gaming. Shout out to them for providing the video. But they were lucky enough to attend this event where they could see the animatronics. But in the background, I can't help but notice that the speaker there is mentioning that the movie will be based on the first 3 games. That this one film is going to comprise the first 3 games in the series.
Ready. 3 games combined from the movie The Real Deal.
And that's really interesting because, well, FNAF 2 and 3 are completely different contexts. They take place in a different time of this franchise. They have different animatronics, not just these 4. So I don't know what exactly that means. I guess it just has elements of all 3 of those games because he's mainly, I'm guessing the speaker was saying this mainly because William Afton is going to be in the Springlock suit, and he's going to turn into Springtrap, likely, in this film. Or at least we just see him get Springlocked, right? All the blood coming out or whatever. I don't know how it could have any similarities to FNAF 2. So that's really interesting how he said the first 3 films. Mostly, up until this point, we've only assumed that it's based on the first game of the series because of, you know, the 4 main animatronics here. So I'm a bit curious as to whether this guy is right and it actually is based on the first 3 games. If so, well, it must be a long movie, but it's not that long. The FNAF movie right now is confirmed to be 1 hour and 50 minutes. Apparently a lot of people were interested in a 3-hour FNAF movie. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Also worth mentioning, the budget for this one is $25 million. So yeah, this Universal Studios Hollywood thing is really cool. And yeah, they did it a couple of times, because if you search it up on YouTube, there'll be numerous videos of this Blumhouse event that comes up, and yeah, they're all hosted by different people narrating. And yes, critics have already viewed their press screenings for Five Nights at Freddy's. They're unable to talk about it until a specified date, which will probably be later in October when the critics can finally give their opinions on the film. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, the director Tammy complimented the Five Nights at Freddy's star Josh Hutcherson, revealing the intensive process of finding the right actor for the Night Guard job in the film. And yeah, this is exactly what she had to say. We went through an intensive process for this role because he really anchors the whole film. I talked to Josh early on and we just kept coming back to him. He had such a grasp for the character and gave Mike a real lived-in feeling, which is what the character needed. I'm excited for people to see Josh in a slightly new light. This is really cool. I grew up with Josh Hutcherson in Zathura, Bridge to Terabithia, and also Journey to the Mysterious Island, as well as Journey to the Center of the Earth. And of course, the Hunger Games. And yes, the movie will apparently require multiple viewings to see all the Easter eggs. I guess if you're not really too interested in the Easter eggs, you probably just will watch it once. But I know definitely people like Matt Pat from Game Theory will just be combing over this movie, probably watching it multiple times. I think that's really interesting. And I like that there's always going to be something to look at in this film that's going to be like, ooh, I can't believe this is in here for the games, you know? And I think that's going to be great. And I have full trust in Tammy that she'll deliver all those Easter eggs that we are hoping for. I personally want to see the phone guy voiced by Scott Cawthon, just like he is in the games. I think that would be an amazing, you know, callback to obviously the original games, and also just bring in the creator of this, you know, huge franchise that has grown into. That would really be fitting for the film. Alright, so Emma Tammy, the director of the film, says, well, I can't give any of those Easter eggs away. I'll say this. I think some will be immediately obvious. Then I think others will be found on a second or third watch. We've got some things that are buried in there a little bit more than you might not notice in the first watch. Wow, that is really, really cool. And already in the trailers, people have already noticed that one of the people that break into the pizzeria at the beginning of the film is wearing a Midnight Motorist t-shirt based on the minigame, which is crazy. That's a crazy detail. So I can't wait to see what else is here. And, you know, obviously Mike's office, security office, I'm sure will be filled with Easter eggs in the background. So I think that's a really cool way of bringing, you know, the community together and getting them more excited to see the film. Also, most recently, there was a movie poster that contained a phone number that was for applying for the position of night guard at the pizzeria. So yes, this is a viral piece of marketing that is actually real, and it does send you your own security badge with your photo on it. I cannot wait to see it. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome way to end off Spooktober. So if you guys give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, maybe even subscribe, I would really appreciate it. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.